Now, in this continued discussion on India and the Southeast Asia and ASEAN, a slightly different topic, but linked to it, that is why I would like to talk about Trans-Pacific Partnership. Trans-Pacific Partnership. And now, this Trans-Pacific Partnership has been changed to CPTPP, that is Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement. Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. So, the new agreement is CPTPP, Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. So, what is it and how has it shaped up and what are the issues associated with that? That is what I would like to discuss. So, in general, what is commonly known is Trans-Pacific Partnership, but now it has become CPTPP, that is Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. So, 12 countries. So, for your understanding, 12 countries in 2016 signed this Trans-Pacific. So, countries surrounding the Pacific Ocean, that is why the Trans-Pacific idea has come, which is almost accounting for 40% of the world's economic output. World's economic output came together to have a free trade agreement. So, it was aimed to deepen the economic ties between these countries, slash tariff, and to boost growth basically. And they wanted to formulate their economic policies and regulations such a way that these 12 countries can have better understanding and coordination. And it was led by US and Japan. Please remember, the leadership was by leaders by USA and Japan, but no China. That is the most important thing. China was deliberately kept outside. So, when finally the US walked out subsequently, I will come to that. So, it is 2016, these 12 countries. Who are those 12 countries? Very easy: USA, then Canada, Mexico, so all from the North America, then Chile and Peru, so from the US side, then Australia, New Zealand. So, out of the 12, these are the 5, then Australia plus New Zealand, and then from the Southeast Asian country or Asia, Japan was taking the lead, then Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei and Vietnam. So, 5 from Asia, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Vietnam. 5 from Americas, US, Canada, Mexico, Chile and Peru. So, on that side, and then Australia and New Zealand. So, total numbers coming up to 12. So, these 12 countries decided to have a partnership and a free trade agreement, and there is a competition going on at the time between RCEP and Trans-Pacific Partnership, who will be able to sign it first, and the US and these 12 countries managed to sign it first, and they wanted to eventually they want to create a single market like European Union. So, they decided that all 12 countries will ratify and it will come into force. But that was in 2016, but in elections in US and in 2017, when Donald Trump came to power, President Trump, he walked out of this treaty, and so US pulled out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So, that is how this Trans-Pacific Partnership could not come into force. In fact, the agreement, the Trans-Pacific Partnership agreement was such that it has to be, or all the 12 countries should ratify by February 2018, and at least 6 countries, or rather by February 2018, at least 6 countries and 85% of the in economic output, 6 countries that accounts for 85% of economic output they should ratify, then only the treaty will come into force. That means US and Japan should be there. If both are not there, 85% would not come. And automatically this treaty would not have come to force if one of them, either US or Japan, walks out, it would not have happened. Anyway, the US walked out, so automatically Trans-Pacific Partnership collapsed, because the agreement was that by February 2018, at least 6 countries should ratify, which accounts for 85% of the economic output of these 12 countries. So US, and if when the US walks out, automatically this 85% criteria will not be met. So that is how this Trans-Pacific Partnership collapsed. But subsequently, after the collapse of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the rest of the countries, the 11 of them, continued their negotiations, and finally they arrived at a new agreement called Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. CPTPP was signed by these countries, these 11 of them, and they signed it in March 2018. March 2018, the CPTPP has been signed, and they ratified, all 11 of them ratified it, and the treaty came into force, entered into force from December 30th, 2018. So, from December 30th, 2018 onwards, this comprehensive Trans-Pacific Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership has come into force, and they made some important changes. Now, let me just talk about what are the new changes in CPTPP compared to that of TPP. So, the most important thing, in fact, there are many conditions put in the Trans-Pacific Partnership because of the insistence of US. In fact, when the negotiations were going on in US, especially by President Obama, there is a lot of pressure on him. In fact, there is a lot of resistance from the US. Already the job losses were going on, Chinese influence was increasing in the US, so there is a lot of pressure from within the US related to these issues related to job loss. So the US put a lot of conditions. In fact, the maximum change took place in those places where the US insisted on conditions. So in the TPP, Washington pushed hard for longer copyright terms. So Washington wanted longer copyright term. Then automatic patent extension. Automatic patent extension, then separate protection for new technologies, separate protection for new technologies, then including technologies like biologics. Example, it is a new technology emerging, which is biologics. Then which is considered to be a cutting edge. Biologics is considered to be a cutting edge medical technology. So they wanted special provisions for all these things. US insisted, and these provisions were added in the treaty or in the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So all these, and which most of these provisions or other, this longer copyright, automatic patent extension, separate protection for new technologies, biologics, were opposed by the rest of the members. So in the new agreement, these provisions are not there. Also, so one big change is on the places where the US insisted and added points. The second major change is in the investment chapter. Investment chapter, where the US insisted on certain points. So that particular area has also been excluded now. Now, according to the 11 member CPTPP members, they have not removed these provisions, they are only suspended. Now, very interestingly, they have said that they have not removed those US insisted provisions, they have only suspended these provisions for the time being. Meaning, they are hopeful that tomorrow, if a new American president comes up and change the scenario in US, the US can come back. If the US decides to rejoin, they can always come back. So they have left the scope for the US to come back. So they have not outrightly shut the doors for the US right now. So that is one very interesting point. Second point is this CPTPP. There are many countries are interested in joining. For example, South Korea has shown interest. Then Thailand and Colombia, Thailand, Colombia, then Taiwan, of course, China may be objecting to that. So there are, many countries have shown interest. So in the original negotiation, especially South Korea is definitely seen as a potential member for the future. Thailand, Colombia, Taiwan, all are showing interest, despite some objection from the Chinese because of Taiwan issue. But otherwise, all of them are shown interest. In fact, in October 2018, a very interesting statement was that when Britain was talking about this Brexit, exit from from European Union, the Japanese Prime Minister has said that they are more than, they will welcome United Kingdom, Britain, if they want to join this Trans-Pacific Partnership. In fact, the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, he has said that United Kingdom, despite its geographical distance, would be welcome to the CPTPP with open arms, indicating that this CPTPP has lot of potential. They may be expanding beyond the geographical boundaries and they may include Britain in future. US can always come back. So there is great potential for this. So right now it has 11 members. They have just started minus US. So naturally the real power of this CPTPP has gone. The real energy has gone because the US is the largest economy in the world. When the US is missing, naturally the real the power and the force behind the whole thing has vanished. But still they are keeping their options open. They are hopeful that today or tomorrow, when there is a change in the leadership of US, people will come back. But they have signed the agreement, they have moved forward. RCEP could not move forward. So that way TPP has moved ahead minus US. And many more countries are willing to join, and they may be negotiating and joining this agreement in future. So this is going to be a very exciting, a free trade agreement of the future.